been listening to the Clarinet Concerto in A Major by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, performed by the Iceland Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Cornelius Meister, with soloist Arne Gunnar Arnedottir. Join us tomorrow for WMDI's Classical Hour, as we explore the Romantic period of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Sponsored by Henry Corman, Gerard, and Hirsch Fine Chairs and Woodworking. Henry Corman, Hirsch, and Gerard Fine Chairs and Woodworking, makers of special chairs for special people since 1785. Coming up in the next hour, a humorous and a chilling tale of love, loss, and betrayal, presented by the Divas Players. This is WMDI.
If your meals have become blasé, we think barbecue will make your day. Russia's Ruminator and Barbecue Supply. If you need a ham, then come on by.
Trojan Radio Broadcasting presents The Curse of Ravensdern, sponsored by Russia's Rubinator's Wood and Barbecue Supply Shop. It's smoking! Tonight's cast is Raymond Cooper as Cedric, the 15th Earl of Ravensdern, Geoffrey Graham as Robin Ravensdern, Dimitri Needham as Albert Ravensdern, Susanna Lynch as Gwen Coughlin, Judith Hartley as Jane Coughlin, and Prudence Wilson as Sybil Coughlin. I'm your evening's host, Francis Baker. Ravensdern, the most hideous stately home in England, who's occupied by the most hideously, hysterically, insidiously cursed family in England, whose family motto, Quod sepi servabo, what I have taken I will keep, is no joke. Listen and be shocked as ghosts, secret passages, romance,
Darling!
fortune hunters,
Oh, darling.
big game hunters, stolen jewels, a heathen idol, a missing heir, faithful butlers, unfaithful butlers, murder, Americans, and thunder and lightning. Lots of thunder and lightning. Steal into the lives of a long line of Ravensderns. Witness the slow, inexorable decline of a family cursed by bad taste, poor choices, pecuniary disadvantages, strange visitors, and, of course, a curse that just won't die. Act 1, Scene 1, Nightcaps. Our journey begins in England in the early part of the 19th century, when people still believed in ghosts and potions and primogeniture. It is nighttime at Ravensdern. It strikes cold. There is something shiversome about it in an oddly shaped room. The result of centuries of poorly considered renovations. The only source of light is from a fire in the fireplace, glowing off the nearby suit of armor, and from the reflections of all the candles in the room bouncing off the many glass eyes of the many stuffed heads that line the walls. Outside the massive window, a storm is brewing. But inside, oblivious to all those eyes upon them and the danger ahead, 3 men sit in this very odd room, nursing their drinks and their smokes. Cedric, the 15th Earl of Ravensdern, his brother, Albert Fitzhoward Ravensdern, and their youngest brother, Robin Fitzhoward Ravensdern, are toasting to their futures, namely the sisters Gwen, Jane, and Sybil Coughlin, who will bring their great fortunes to the family when they wed, ensuring the Ravensdern line in perpetuity. Or will they?
To Ravensdern.
To Ravensdern. Is that you in the house, Cedric?
Well, really, Robin, they're the same thing. The house is Ravensdern and I am Ravensdern. Of that ilk.
The 15th Earl of Ravensdern.
And tonight I've arranged for the price to be paid for future Ravensderns.
And what is the price these days? Exorbitant, I imagine.
And not entirely financial. To Ravensdern.
To Ravensdern. Look at that great yellow moon, and those clouds, what?
A perfect night to tell ghost stories.
Oh, no, really? This isn't 19th century, chaps. Go ahead, tell us a ghost story, Cedric, do. Don't do it, Cedric. Shut up, young Robin. It's Cedric's choice. After all, he's the eldest, what?
I'm going to tell a ghost story.
Ugh.
But since it's past bedtime for the baby of the family, I shall tell the shortest ghost story possible. Once, A guest at a house party was assigned a bedchamber reputedly haunted. He was consequently very nervous, so he looked under the bed and into the cupboards. Then he closed and barred the shutters, and just before getting into bed, he carefully locked the door. Just as he blew out the last candle, he heard a small voice say,
Now we're shut in for the night. Oh, I say, dash it all, Cedric. Is that true, what?
Of course it's not true.
well, the person who told it to me knew the person that person happened to.
Balderdash.
Robin, that was uncalled for.
Sorry.
I say, I know a ghost story even shorter than that one. Shall I tell it, what?
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes, Albert, go ahead.
All right, I will then. Ready?
Ready.
A guest woke up frightened in the dark and reached for the matches, and the matches were put into his hand.
Oh, splendid, Albert. That one's rather jolly, isn't it?
Thank you. You tell one, Robin.
No, I shan't.
Well, Cedric's told one, and I've told one. Now it's your turn, what?
I don't know one.
You must know one.
I don't believe in ghosts, so I don't know any ghost stories.
You don't believe in them at all.
No, of course not. Do you?
But we have some of our very own family ghosts here at Ravensdern. Take that noisy child in the crypt, the strange business of telling the crows, and of course Daft Davy, the strangler.
So you do believe?
Well, I wouldn't really say that I actually, believe. But then again, on the other hand, there are certain, as it were, if you see what I'm saying, what?
Clearly.
How about you, Cedric?
No, I still have some, thank you.
No, I mean, do you believe in ghosts, what?
Well, yes and no.
Ah, another statement of unalterable principle.
Since it is both my privilege and my doom to be Lord Ravensdern, and because of
The Curse of Ravensdern.
I've told you never to say that!
What do you make of that, then, what? All that thunder and lightning stuff, what?
Summer lightning, a meteorological phenomenon.
No, Robin, it is more than that. Consider the business about father being struck down just as I was born. The very fact that you and Albert are only my half-brother's mother having remarried indicates something uncanny at work. The world is very strange, and Ravensdern is stranger.
Nonsense. I believe in science and mathematics. Everything can be counted. I believe there are natural laws governing a purely physical universe.
I believe we should all go to bed. We have to go riding very early with the Coughlin sisters tomorrow.
Oh, that reminds me. The Coughlin girls are coming back down here in a minute.
I thought they'd gone to bed.
They have. I think they have.
I overheard them talking. Apparently they got some potion from that crone over in a wickery.
Granny Hodgson, she's a witch, you know.
She's a clever old biddy who makes a little extra from the gullible. Potions never work out. Look at Tristan and Juliet.
Weren't they happy together?
So why are they coming down here?
They have to drink the potion and look at the moon in a mirror over their left shoulder.
What on earth for?
Supposedly they will then see their future husbands, magically.
Gosh, rather exciting, what? Future husbands and all.
I still don't see why they're coming down here.
You can't see the moon from their rooms.
Oh, can't you?
Just as well, probably. I don't think it's a good idea for single girls to be looking at the moon too much.
It all sounds very elaborate.
But I wonder whom they'll see, who their future husbands will be.
Us?
Us.
Well, we're who they're going to marry, aren't we? After all, that's why they're here. An alliance of two great families. Not that the Coughlins are a great family, of course, but they are extremely wealthy.
Well, have you chosen a Coughlin girl, or doesn't it matter?
I'm going to marry Gwen,
Gwen. But you can't marry Gwen. She's the prettiest.
the eldest, like myself, and the heiress.
And I'm going to marry Jane, don't you know?
And what about me?
Well, you'll have to marry Sybil.
Why do I have to marry Sybil?
Because there are 3 Coughlin girls and 3 of us, and she's what's left, don't you know?
But she laughs like a horse.
Well, at least she's got a sense of humor. I mean, she laughs all the time.
Yes, she does rather, like my new chestnut hunter.
When she's not laughing like one, she prances about like one. Why don't you two marry Gwen and Jane, and I'll go off to the Khyber Pass or somewhere.
Not possible, young Robin. It is all arranged. There are settlements, property entailments, agreements, trusts. I'm afraid they've saddled your horse, and now you'll just have to ride her.
We'll all be cut off without a penny, don't you know?
So that's the price, and I'm to pay it? Well, I think it's jolly unfair. My married life will be exactly like a gymkhana.
Wait a bit, I just had a thought. What if they don't see us when they do their magic rigmarole thing, what?
Well, who else are they going to see?
Well, I don't know. I mean, well, maybe some Grenadier Guardsman fella, all done up in red and moustaches. You know what girls are, what?
No, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
They might just see something, well, I don't hold with young girls looking at the moon. Too romantic, bad for the heart, what?
Then why don't you make sure that they see you?
How's that?
Be here when they use the spell.
Oh, I say, jolly good.
We'll just stay here then, shall we?
No, you'd better appear at the appropriate moment and appropriately dressed in something otherworldly.
I don't think I have anything otherworldly.
That prehistoric green tweed of yours is otherworldly.
Nightshirts.
Oh, I don't think I'll hold with that. Nanny wouldn't have approved of that.
Nanny isn't here. It's a jolly good idea. Come on, Albert.
Oh, well, very well. I mean, what if we run into them on the way?
Well, we could turn left through the library and then sharp right up the Turkish staircase to the little door in the northwest. Oh, dear.
What is it?
I can see their candles.
Well, that's it then, isn't it? We're trapped.
No, we're not. Use the secret passage.
Oh, good, Robin. Jolly good. Go, Albert. And you too, Robin.
No, there's you and Gwen and Jane and Albert.
And you and Sybil. And it'll be lots of fun. Now do come on, I insist.
Very well. After I finish my wine. Robin, coming. I have to blow out the last candle.
Shut up, Sybil.
We're not supposed to say shut up. It's not polite.
We're not supposed to be running about in our night clothes either. It's very, very naughty.
We're not running about. We're tiptoeing.
Well, we're not properly dressed for it, whatever we're doing.
It's awfully dark, isn't it?
Yes, awfully.
What was that?
Me, I think.
Please do be quiet, dear.
Do let's hurry.
All right, stand over there where you can see the moon in the mirror.
Why do I have to go first?
Why not?
Well, you're the eldest, and it was your idea. You go first.
Don't be such a silly goose, Jane. Now go ahead.
No, you.
No, you.
No, you.
No, you.
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 Please do be quiet, Sybil, dear. Very well, I'll go first. Give me the bottle.
I can't get the top off.
Hurry, there's a big cloud coming up.
Can you see the moon in the mirror?
Yes, but it's going.
Do you remember the spell?
Yes, of course I do.
Don't snap.
Well, hurry up, slow coach.
It's hurting my fingers. Give me your shawl.
I'm taking a dreadful risk in going first, Jane. All you have to do is open the bottle, so do hurry up.
I am hurrying up. There, it's moving. I've opened it. Here.
Too late. The moon's gone.
Now what do we do?
We'll have to wait. It'll be out again in a moment.
I wish I were all tucked up in bed.
Don't you want to see whom you're going to marry?
We're going to marry Cedric, Albert, and Robin. We already know that.
Yes. I do wish Cedric were a little more like, well, like Robin.
Oh, Gwen! What a terrible thing to say. I think Albert's nice, really, all things considered.
You used to want a Grenadier Guardsman in a huge uniform, in a red uniform with huge mustaches.
Gwen,
Yes?
are we going to see who we're going to marry? Or
What?
our one true love?
Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Isn't it?
Oh, Gwen, I hope so. I do hope so.
Oh, Jane, I do love him so.
Who?
It's easy for Sybil. She's marrying Robin. Do please be quiet, Sybil, dear. Oh, look, the moon's come back. Give me the bottle.
Ready?
Yes.
I wonder, do you think it tastes horrid? You know, bat's wings, eye of newt, lizard's tongues, little tiny pieces of ground up beetle, frog's blood.
I'm going to be sick! Shut up, Sybil, shut up! Or we'll make you go first and drink the whole bottle.
Do hurry up, Gwen.
I was hurrying up, but you started saying nasty things.
Well, I won't anymore. I promise.
All right. Actually, this is rather frightening. O moon and mirror that I see, show my true love unto me.
What do you see? What do you see?
Nothing yet.
Gwendolyn. Oh, Gwendolyn.
Who's that?
It's Cedric.
Oh, Cedric. Cedric, I'm so happy to see you. I really was just a little nervous.
Oh, let me. This is marvelous fun. Sybil,
Look at the moon.
I am. Oh, moon and mirror that I see, show my true love unto me. I don't
Try it again, Jane. Only louder. Much louder!
Oh, moon in mirror that I see, show my true love unto me.
Jane, oh Jane!
Oh, Albert! Thank heavens it wasn't some strange guardsman, Albert.
Now it's your turn, Sybil. Sybil?
Sybil! Oh, Sybil! Hello, Sybil.
No, dash it all, Robin. She hasn't done it yet.
Done what?
Looked at the thing and drunk the, you know.
Well, go ahead anyway, Sybil. Maybe you'll see Robin in the mirror.
No, Sybil dear, over your left shoulder?
I say, my
Hold
shoulder.
on, let's see.
There's no one here.
Probably
Do be
nothing.
careful.
Must have been the wind, what?
Of course, it was the wind.
I'm frightened.
It's empty. Oh, shut up! Someone give her a lump of sugar.
We will now pause for a word from our sponsor. Have a hankering for a ham? Need a handful of hickory? Rush's Ruminator's Wood and Barbecue Supply Shop, featuring the finest cured meats and seasoned woods in Hancock County, is here to help. On sale this week, pimento cheese. Rush's Ruminator's Wood and Barbecue Supply Shop. It's smoking! Welcome back. You are listening to The Curse of Ravensdern, Nightcaps. A storm looms on the horizon at the stately home of Ravensdern. Through the clouds, a full moon casts a shimmery white glow into the drawing room, where the 15th Earl of Ravensdern, his two half-brothers, and their fiancés retreated, after failing to locate the source of a ghastly, tormented, wailing cry that pierced the long hallways of the manor just moments ago. But what is that in the corner there? Is that shimmery white glow a reflection of the moon? Or has someone or something joined them? And now, the spine-tingling conclusion of Nightcaps.
It's jolly late, you know. Let's have one quick nightcap and off to bed.
You won't tell Papa, will you, Cedric?
No, of course not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, we have just enough glasses.
What do you think made that awful noise?
Probably the wind. There'll be a natural explanation.
Or else Daft Davy, eh? Thanks. Here you are, my dear, what?
Who's Daft Davy?
He was a village maniac who ran amok and strangled several girls, what?
When?
Oh, hundreds of years ago.
Well, he must be pretty doddery by now.
Oh, it wouldn't be him. I mean, not himself, not actually, just his... Well, his ghost, don't you know?
Shut
up, Sybil! I propose a toast to the 6 of us. To Gwen and myself, to Jane and Albert, and to... Wait a minute, I haven't got a glass. I thought there were enough.
I'm sure there were.
Check
I
out
thought
there.
you
I
had.
don't see one.
They're not here.
Oh, here's one. Right, everybody ready? To Gwen and myself, to Jane and Albert, and
No,
to...
I haven't got a glass.
Oh, really, Albert? Will everybody please get a glass?
A silent, unseen hand takes the glass from Robin's hand. He is startled, then shocked into a stunned silence.
Oh, I have one.
Well, about time. Ready? To Gwen and myself, to Jane and Albert, and to Sybil and her young fellow.
Robin doesn't have
Oh, really, young what?
Tash it all.
But what's this? The 7th member of the group is offering his glass back to Robin, who, shaking his head no, refuses the glass and all that goes with it. A perfidious deed indeed.
It's all right. I do now.
Gwen, myself, Jane, Albert, Sybil, and her intended. Good luck to us all.
Here, here.
And now for bed. I'll see you to your room, Gwen. Good night. Sweet dreams.
Good night.
Good night.
Are you ready, Jane? What?
Yes, Albert.
Good night. Sleep tight.
Ready for bed, Sybil, dear. Oh, good show, Daft Davy. The potion. I wonder. Gwen.
Robin.
This has been The Curse of Ravensdern, presented by the Demas Players and produced by Trojan Broadcasting Productions. As Cedric Ravensdern, Raymond Cooper. Albert Fitzhoward Ravensdern was played by Dimitri Needham, and Jeffrey Graham played Robin Fitzhoward Ravensdern. Also with Susanna Lynch as Gwen Coughlin, Judith Hartley as Jane Coughlin, and Brutus Wilson as the luckless and silly Sybil. The woebegone tale of this dastardly noble line continues with The Curse of Ravensdern, Pad Paracha.
A hot cup of coffee, come and get some. Hoffman's Bazaar and Emporium.
You are listening to WMGI. The Curse of Ravensdern. Part 2, Pad Paracha, is sponsored by Hockman's Bazaar and Emporium. Tonight's cast, Nathan S. Nason as 17th Earl of Ravensdern, Millie Morris as Lady Honoria Westbury Smythe, and Gloria DeAngelis as Septics Equals to Vicar, and Rexby Bride as Will Brown a Stranger. I am your host, Amber Musson.
Hockman's Bazaar and Emporium, where bagels are not just rolls with holes. Whether you need a delicious breakfast, a bit of Thanksgiving dinner, or a natter about parking, we're always open, so come on by. The coffee's always on, and don't forget to try our fluffy eggs.
The weekly meeting of the Ravensdern Literary Society is underway, and the members' impatience is growing. Vicar Septimus Equals is in the second week of his historical poem, Littermere Hall, has just now reached the 20th stanza of the day. The members' discomfort is increased by the fact that they are sitting on Ravensdern's spectacularly dangerous chairs made of staghorns. And now, The Curse of Ravensdern, Pad Paracha.
So this is how the plans were laid to Littlemere Hall away, to carry out a daring raid to Littlemere Hall away, away, to Littlemere Hall away. Sir Egbert said he thought it best to Littlemere Hall away, that all the men should get some rest. To Littlemere Hall away, away, to Littlemere Hall away. Sir Humphrey said that he'd stand guard to Littlemere Hall away, patrolling through the inner yard to Littlemere Hall away, away, to Littlemere Hall away. Now when they their good nights had said to Littlemere Hall away, each of them got themselves to sleep to Littlemere Hall away, away, to Littlemere Hall away. Came the dawn, cock-a-doodle-doo, to Littlemere Hall away. Each of them swore that they would be true to Littlemere Hall away, away, to Littlemere Hall away.
Septimus!
Yes, what?
Tell me, Septimus, do any of these fighting chappies ever get to Littlemere Hall?
Well, of course.
Yes, I do see that, Vicar. But so far I make it 27 stanzas, not including last week, and everybody's in bed.
Would it be possible, Vicar, do you think, just to say to Littlemere Hall, etc.?
Well, I don't think so.
Well, that's how they do it in the book.
But simply as a device by which to indicate that the refrain should be given in full when the ballad is delivered. In the great oral tradition from which this form sprang, the reiteration of the refrain fixed the salient features of the story in the listener's mind. I mean, I do want you to remember where they are going.
Done and done, Vicar.
I shall never forget it.
I would have expected you, my lord, as 17th Earl of Ravensdern and founder of the Ravensdern Literary Society, to have appreciated the great traditional forms, to say nothing of the pursuit of gold. It is, after all, about money.
Quite so.
Now all the martial trumpets played, to Littlemere Hall the way, armoire and the horses neighed, to Littlemere Hall, away, away, to Littlemere Hall, away.
Septimus.
What?
I wonder, could you give us some idea of exactly exactly how far off is this impending battle?
I don't think I'd call it a battle.
How far off is this impending skirmish?
Foray.
Impending foray. I mean, are we going to get it in time for tea?
Well, after they've all put on their armor and saddled up, a matter of a mere 16 stanzas, why, then there's just the ominous meeting with Mad Margaret, and then we're there.
I suppose there's no chance Mad Margaret's a deaf mute.
Now, why?
Well, speaking for myself, I don't know about Lady Honoria.
If it has anything to do with being bone weary, you may speak for me too, Basil.
I think, Vicar, what Honoria means is that this ballad, and frankly using the humble term ballad, you are being entirely too modest. This epic saga of yours, rich as it is in the ancient lore of the country, may be more than a person can reasonably absorb in one session. And of course, we have a new member in a group this evening. Perhaps, with your permission, we could wait to conclude, or at least continue, the ballad of
Little Mere Hall.
Away is not a part of the title. And I do urge the group to remember, when we make our final assessment, that the great natural flow of the narrative has been interrupted. Twice!
We will bear this in mind, Septimus. Further comment?
Life is short and art apparently interminable.
I thought it was quite nice, sir.
Thank you.
And now, Lady Westbury Smythe, what do you have for us this afternoon?
Unfortunately, very little. HRH was with us last week, you understand. So royal. A great personal honor for me. We had balls and hunts and card parties. You'd have loved it. Oh, I would have invited you, Basil. But ever since that incident at the card table, you're
Quite
not.
so, Honoria. Quite so.
Anyway, so the muse was naturally held in abeyance.
Quite so.
However, I did manage to make some small progress in the novel.
Oh, good.
I think that I managed to deepen the characterizations and to reinforce certain themes. Shall I?
Please do.
Do you think, for the sake of
Brown.
Mr. Brown, I should recapitulate the story to this point?
Not in detail, I hope.
In that case, I shall just plunge in and explain when I feel it's necessary. Ready? Then all begin. The Adventures of a Toadstool. Chapter 17. Tommy meets the Mo Fairy. After the thunderstorm was over and the last big raindrop had fallen down, splash, Tommy Toadstool crept out from under the roots of the great beech tree. My oh my, said Tommy Toadstool. What a big storm. He settled his funny little hat more firmly on his head and set off through the meadow on his quest. I wonder if I should stop here and explain to Mr. Brown the object of Tommy's quest. Are you following this, Mr. Brown?
Avidly, your worship.
Oh, in that case, I shall just go on then, shall I? When Tommy Toadstool had toddled through the meadow for a time, he came to a clump of common broom. On the yellow flowers of the broom was a teeny tiny ladybug who was bright red with black dots. Excuse me, Miss Ladybug, said Tommy politely. I was wondering if you could help me, please. How can I help you? Asked the ladybug politely. I want some red dots to put on my hat, said Tommy. And that's all I've got, but I did wonder, Basil, do you think it should be dots or spots? Dots sound so tiny, but spots, on the other hand, they sound contagious.
I shouldn't have thought it made a jot of difference.
Perhaps because, Vicar, you're not as sensitive to your readers as I to mine.
Tell me, Lady Westbury Smythe, this Mo Fairy, whom I presume we shall meet next week.
Yes?
Is she similar to last week's Yellow Fairy?
Obviously, Vicar, there are similarities. They're both, after all, fairies. However, their dresses are entirely different colors.
Rather like the red, blue, green, and coral fairies we've already met. I can hardly wait for chapter 20. Tommy Toadstool meets the burnt Sienna Fairy.
I can only assure you, Tommy Toadstool have achieved this quest long before your ill-scanned knights reach their dreary destination.
I am writing from history.
And instead write from life, as I do.
Perhaps Perhaps our new member would like to add a word here?
Well, of course, I haven't earned much, but it all sounds very colourful.
Thank you, Mr.
Brown. Honoria, let me introduce Mr. Brown to you. Lady Westbury Smythe, this is Will Brown, until lately a soldier overseas in the East.
In the East, perhaps you know my brother-in-law, General Mittling.
Well, not intimately, ma'am.
Oh, nobody knows him intimately, not even his wife for one.
Since he is soon to be a neighbor, I have prevailed on Mr. Brown to join our little literary circle.
A neighbor?
Mr. Brown is looking at Warrington Abbey.
But Lord, Warrington Abbey is nearly as large as Ravensdern.
Much nicer, with no curse.
It must cost a fortune.
Which is precisely what Mr. Brown possesses.
What rank did you achieve, Mr. Brown?
Private, your grace.
No, not your grace, your ladyship or my lady. Remember what I told you, Brown? No ceremony here. Here the muse alone is sovereign. Civility, not civility, obtains. We must meet as equals. Our relationship should be simply man to man, my good man.
Nobly said, Ravensdern.
Now, we've already had contributions from Lady Westbury Smythe and the vicar, whose different styles and indeed attitudes give our literature its great broad strength. I have here a note from the major, who is unfortunately detained at the Great Meadow Gate, whilst his horse continued over it.
Tell them not to buy that horse.
I must pay him a visit.
The mayor begs us to remember his hero, Sir Roderick, still chained in the pirate's cave undergoing torture, whilst writing the names of the pirates on the wall of the cave behind him with a spur of his left boot.
Undaunted hero.
One should always have the courage of one's own bad taste.
I have taken the liberty of expressing to the major our combined condolences.
Is the novel that bad?
On his accident.
And as our bounded chairman and critic, Basil, what do you have to report of the new books?
Very little, I'm afraid. They're not writing them as they used to. I've been forced back to my perennial favorite, Harrison Ainsworth, and spent the week rereading Rookwood. A book I cannot recommend too highly.
The Right to York alone is worth the reading.
Have you read Rookwood, Brown?
No, my lord. Vicar?
I urge you to do so. History in action, a novel that will last, with none of the Dickens chappy social reform nonsense cluttering it up.
Dickens' portrayal of Lady Dedlock is, of course, the work of a vulgarian.
Did you, Brown, as I suggested, try having a go at something for us?
Well, sir, I'm afraid...
Are you a literary man, Mr. Brown?
No, my lady.
Oh,
Basil, why?
Mr. Brown isn't it yet play cards, Honoria.
Oh.
Or shoot.
Oh.
Or ride.
You don't ride.
Infantry, ma'am.
Oh, dear.
Mr. Brown is a Methodist.
Good God!
And Mr. Brown has not yet collected any pictures of note.
Oh.
So the literary circle seemed really the only...
I see.
Well, how did you find it went, Brown?
Well, sir, I did what you suggested. Fought back when I was in service, like, and tried to put down some of that there.
Oh, yes. Thinking from real life, it's truly very simple.
I think you must be deeply engaged in these creative endeavors, must you, Brown? Are you a particularly imaginative writer?
No, lord.
It's not necessary. All I use is observation. It's really very simple.
Oh, really, Lady Westbury Smythe?
Well, it is very simple.
Your simplicity is not in question.
What is?
I should hardly call an endless succession of variegated valleys the result of observation.
I have seen them.
In your mind's eye.
No, in the rhododendrons.
History is the answer, Mr. Brown. Cultivate a sense of history. The source material is almost endless.
And the vicar has poems to match.
We are resolved here, Brown, to resist the encroachments of the everyday. We demand romance, and we do not use that word in its current vulgar sense. We are not made uneasy by the concept of honor. We must advance the vanishing virtues. Duty, service, selflessness.
Charity and faith.
Steadfastness.
The same ideals which embolden the knights who ride for Littlemere Hall.
And of which Tommy Toadstool is the very embodiment.
Those are the principles of our little circle, Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
I am reminded that Mr. Kingsley's Great Westward Ho was written before he had seen the Americas. After he had seen them, he was never again able to describe them quite so vividly. So much for observation, Lady Westbury Smythe.
Nevertheless, I have seen them.
So, Brown, did you have a stab at anything?
Not anything like all that, no, sir.
What did you do?
Well, I went to.
Well, that's a beginning. How did it go?
All I could get out of it was a short little, well, ditty, I suppose.
Ditty?
Verse. Well, that's splendid. Did you bring it with you?
Yes, sir.
Let's have at it then.
Very well. It was somewheres...
Does it have a title, Mr. Brown?
What?
What do you call it?
Oh, well, I don't call it much of anything.
Oh.
We'll think of a title later. That's the easy part.
Shall I continue, sir?
By all means.
It was somewheres east of Suez, but south of Kathmandu. I came upon a place where a secret shrine was hidden, a forgotten savage site, to white men's eyes forbidden. And there I loved a local girl, dark as Darjeeling tea. And though we could not talk at all, believed that she loved me. She was sweeter than the spices, soft as gazelle. But it was on my local lady, that the god's eye fell. They drugged her, and they drug her, and they dragged me to a tree. The pagan wailing fading, before I struggled free. So that when I reached her, she was lying all alone, wed to God, and dead, by God, beneath the heathen throne. There the foul god squatted, with its many arms held high, satisfaction shining from its single, sinful eye. Then and there I swore I would do it deadly harm, and bayonet in hand, I climbed it, arm by arm by arm. I brushed aside the scorpions, and ground them under heel, and now, face to face, I gave a taste of burnished British steel. It seemed to give a shudder, and a preternatural cry, its great arms groping, where once it grew an eye. That was many years ago, and the place is nowhere near. But the temple bells are saying, I tried hard not to hear. But if I find I wake with fear, it is no wonder why. For in my dreams, I see that homicidal idol's eye.
Goodness gracious!
Sheer sensationalism!
You can't go around saying that sort of thing, sleeping with...
It's a tale of miscegenation, adultery, paganism, human sacrifice, revenge, desecration, and theft! And above all that, it's lurid, purple.
Basil, take note. Tommy hasn't met the purple fairy yet.
Far from being an unimaginative man, Brown, I think your imagination is overstimulated.
Well, sir, I just put down what I remembered.
Nonsense, man, it's completely fanciful.
Like Wilkie Collins at his most straight.
Your lordship, I didn't mean to give offense to anyone. I just put down what I remembered.
Nonsense. The story is complete and utter fabrication.
No, sir, it's true.
It couldn't possibly be true.
But it is, and I can prove it.
Do so.
I still have the eye.
You don't mean an eyeball!
No, Padre, the idol's eye. A jewel. Look.
Good God.
It's huge.
I've never seen anything like it. It's orange.
It's a padparancha.
What?
An orange sapphire.
The size of a plum.
A large plum.
Flawless.
It must be worth millions.
Yes, it is.
Well, you better put it away safely now.
And I must be going. Basil, take note. Tommy hasn't met the orange fairy yet.
But he will. Lord knows he will.
When you become a neighbor, Mr. Brown, I must take you to the cataract to see the rhododendrons at dusk. Good afternoon.
And I must be making my visit to the Major. Perhaps, my lord, next week I shall be permitted to continue my reading of the Ballad of Little Deer.
Of course. Septimus. Of course.
Mr. Brown.
Yes?
I wouldn't accept any sort of doubt state.
You'll have tea, Brown. I'll see you on Sunday, Septimus.
Of course, my lord. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Goodbye, sir.
And that, Brown, except for the Major, is our little literary circle.
I'd like to apologize, Your Lordship, for mentioning the girl. I didn't realize. It's just that, well, I liked her very much. And I was sorry when they... Because I
Don't
missed
give
her.
it another thought. You must stay till dinner, and then we'll have a quick game of cards.
Oh, I don't have the right clothes, sir. And I don't really play cards. Well,
Nonsense. We can't have you spending the night at an inn. I'll send a man to East Wickery for your clothes, and then I'll teach you how to play cards. Very small stakes.
I didn't bring much money, sir.
Immaterial, my dear fellow. Gentlemen accept each other's notes. Or if it would make you feel better, you could put up some small token as collateral. By the way, that little ditty of yours, I shall call it Padparancha. People won't know what it means, but it's the perfect title.
This has been The Curse of Ravensdern, Padparancha, presented by the Demas Players, and produced by Trojan Broadcasting Productions. Playing Lord Ravensdern, Nathan S. Nason. As Lady Honora Westbury Smythe, Millie Moores. As Septimus Equals the Bishop, Gloria DeAngelis. And as Will Brown, Ruxby Rye. This program has been sponsored by Huckman's Bazaar and Emporium. Come on by, the coffee's always on. Please join us next time as the story of this dastardly and accursed family continues with The Curse of Ravensdern.
You are listening to WMBI. Coming up in the next hour, The Curse of Ravensdern, Part 3. Presented by the Demas Players and brought to you by Corbin and Turk Cakes and Confectionaries. Why eat cake when you can eat art? Tonight's cast features Robert Todson as Wilberforce, the 19th Earl of Ravensdern, Benjamin Eisenhower as Colonel Braithwaite, Theodore Cypher Hansberry as the Bishop, Jake Satterns as Redham the Butler, and Amber Musson as Nurse Myrtle. I'm your host, Millie Moores.
Rush's Ruminators Wood and Barbecue Supply Shop. From brisket to hardwood cords, Rush's Ruminators Wood and Barbecue Supply Shop has everything you need to warm your house and sate your appetite. Rush's Ruminators Wood and Barbecue Supply Shop. It's smoking.
It is nearly midnight at Ravensdern. The elderly Lord Wilberforce, 19th Earl of Ravensdern, is anxiously awaiting the birth of his first child. His good friends, Colonel Braithwaite and the Bishop, entertain themselves around the fire with brandy and cigars. But a violent storm is fast approaching the manor house. Now, at long last, the Curse of Ravensdern will be revealed.
A touch more brandy, Bishop.
Such fine cigars. Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes, by all means. It was a dark and stormy night. Eh, Colonel?
It's the Curse of Ravensdern.
What was that, Wilberforce?
He said it was the Curse of Ravensdern.
The Curse of Ravensdern.
Do you mind? I've got a lot to think about, and I can't hear myself think if you two go on like that.
Touchy. More brandy?
Thank you. Very common with expectant fathers.
Or a girl? What do you think?
A boy, Bishop. 5 pounds. It's a baby boy.
I'll bet on that.
You'd bet on anything.
A girl, Colonel? 10 pounds.
Boy, 15.
A girl, 20.
25.
Guineas.
Done.
Do you have any preference, Wilberforce?
Of course he does. He wants a boy. Everybody wants a boy. Boys inherit. And more important, you can pack them off to school. Send the little beggars out of the house.
So you want a boy, Wilberforce?
What?
Want a boy, don't you, old boy?
Well, actually, no. I'd rather prefer a girl.
Why is that, Wilberforce?
Well, I prefer a girl because of the Ravensdern. Ooh, it's getting closer. I think we'd better have Redham bring some more brandy. If I ring now, he just might make it in time.
What is this curse thing? I've heard rumors about it for years. Just what exactly is the Curse of Ravensdern?
Well, it's not a very nice story, and perhaps unsuitable for my Lord Bishop.
The path to heaven lies through the world, Wilberforce. And I look about me as I go.
So I've heard, especially at that Market Wickery race course.
Very well, then. Years ago, before Ravensdern was Ravensdern, the then lord of the place dashed off to the Crusades or somewhere, leaving his daughter Winifred behind. Now, the neighbors, 2 brothers Jack and Egbert Ravensdern, wanted the house, so each set about wooing her, winner take all. Jack, being a pretty game lad, won the wooing by getting Winifred pregnant and marrying her.
So he was the first Lord of Ravensdern?
No, Colonel. Egbert was jealous of his brother Jack and sepulchered him in the family crypt, which Jack reputedly still haunts.
Dreadful doing.
Dreadful indeed. Having got rid of Jack, Egbert himself married Winifred, who seems she was rather readily available.
So Egbert was the first Lord of Ravensdern?
No, Colonel. In due course, Winifred gave birth to a son, Hugh.
Was he the first Lord of Ravensdern?
No, Colonel. He was Jack's son, whom Egbert proceeded to murder in the selfsame manner as he had murdered Jack.
Good gracious, not in sepulchering again.
Yes, and in the selfsame crypt, which the child also haunts. It's one of your noisier crypts. You might get eternal rest down there, but you wouldn't get a wink of sleep.
What an abhorrent history. Hideous, horrendous, horrible.
Do you want to hear it or not, Bishop?
Dying to. All yours, old fellow. Forge ahead.
Well, finally, some time later, Winifred gave birth to a son. This son, Porteous, was in fact Egbert's, and Porteous, Colonel, was the first Lord of Ravensdern from the moment he was born. Because Egbert was dead.
No!
Yes! An angry fate, outraged by his awful crimes, had struck down Egbert as soon as he had an heir. And through the centuries, it has ever been thus!
Ever been what?
Thus!
What thus? I mean, thus what?
That horrible history hangs over us still. It is our eldest primal curse. It is our doom. At the moment it is announced that the Earl of Ravensdern has a male heir, the current lord dies. That is the curse of Ravensdern.
Have you considered adoption?
Out of the question. But I would prefer a girl because, as you can see, it's primogeniture to run amok. That's why there's been so many of us. I'm the 19th. The succession is such an awful tangle, the College of Heralds just hates us. Sometimes I wonder how we carry on. Ah, Redmond.
Your reign, my lord.
Yes, Redmond, I think we're going to need some more brandy. It's a beast of a night.
Very good, my lord. Another log or two on the fire. Take the chill off, won't it?
No, brandy, Redmond, brandy.
Oh, very well, my lord. Make up your mind. Take the chill off, won't it?
How are things with Lady Ravensdern, Redmond?
Well, you got to expect rain this time of year, my lord.
Lady Ravensdern!
Of course now. Rain's good for the crops, my lord.
There's more than one curse in this house. Lady Ravensdern!
She can't come now. The very idea. She's having a baby.
I've tried to pension him off. He won't go.
About midnight, she's having a baby. That's what Nurse Myrtle and young doctors say. A brand new Lord Ravensdern. Congratulations, my lord.
Hear, hear.
Congratulations.
Thank you all very much.
And goodbye, my lord.
That's all, Redmond.
Very well, my lord. It'll take a while. I can't go rushing about anymore. Not with my problem.
You must be very gratified, Wilberforce. Very gratified indeed.
My gratification is qualified.
Understandable.
Still, the odds are even, aren't they? Quite a little flutter, really.
Personally, I find the stakes too steep. But the thing I regret most about this curse business is getting Lady Ravensdern involved. I wasn't supposed to marry her, you know. I was supposed to marry old Chester's eldest, a grim, horsey-looking girl. You'd like her, Bishop. But one night I went to the theater. Inside was all red plush and expectation. The orchestra played pretty tunes. Everything was brilliantly painted and vividly lit and beautifully spoken. And when they swore undying love, they meant it. Virtue triumphed. And for the first and only time in my life, I fell in love.
And married Maisie Butterworth, a chorus girl.
I thought her the prettiest girl in the world. Open-hearted.
Yes.
Open-handed.
Yes.
Open-minded.
Very.
Open everything, in fact.
And now that poor, innocent girl knows that if she has a baby boy, his father dies.
Let me see if I understand this, Wilberforce. If it's a boy, the present lord, that's you, Wilberforce, drops dead. Or the father drops dead. Which is it?
Well, really, Bishop, they're the same person.
Of course they are. But what if they weren't?
How could they not be?
Oh dear, I'm a man of the cloth, then you, Wilberforce, are a man of the flesh. Surely I don't have to explain the ways of the world to you.
Oh, I see. Well, in that unfortunate case, it's the father. At the moment it is announced that the Earl of Ravensdern has a male heir, the father drops dead. That is the curse of Ravensdern.
Curse on my day!
Where's the brandy?
It drop dead, I suppose that would mean.
I was up a gum tree.
But of course, I've always trusted Lady Ravensdern implicitly. And she's such a jolly, free-spirited, fun-loving girl.
I'll say.
That she is.
She enjoys life immensely. She loved to pop over to your place, Colonel, for a bit of shooting.
Yes, pop, pop, pop.
And go for a gallop with you, Bishop.
God, she was fast.
And of course, I always let her.
Thanks awfully.
So, curse is a terrible thing to be under.
You're telling me.
I know what you mean.
You really should warn people, Ravensdern. Put up a sign. Beware of the curse. Keep your hands to yourself.
Too late now.
Don't say that.
Of course, I rather do hope it's a girl.
Me too.
Why you too?
Oh, no reason.
For your sake, Wilberforce.
Oh, yes, thank you. Well, I've got a chance. What are the odds, Bishop? 50-50?
Better than that.
3 to 1.
At least.
Can this dude think travel over water?
Why?
I was thinking of taking a trip.
Where?
Nova Scotia.
Wrong time of the year for Nova Scotia.
I didn't know there was a right time of year for Nova Scotia.
Can it travel over water?
Oh, yes. The 9th Earl was struck down in Port Said.
Isn't everyone?
It can certainly travel over water.
Damn!
Where the devil's the brandy?
I must say, my dear chaps, I do appreciate you sharing my burden.
Not at all.
What are friends for?
The brandy, my lord.
Ah, thank you, Redmond.
What kept you, Redmond?
Don't be so proper, man. Slosh it in there.
Well then, whose health shall we drink?
I'm drinking to mine. I don't know about the rest of you.
How about Lady Ravensdern? My own dear Maisie. Splendid brandy, Redmond.
She can't come now, I tell you. She's going to have a baby any minute.
Oh, the suspense is killing me.
I can only hope that's true.
What, Bishop?
I hope that it's a girl. For you, my lord.
Oh, so do I.
I had to give that there young doctor some brandy. Silly a big, strapping fellow like him shaking that way, all nervous and apprehensive.
Ah!
To the dark horse.
The doctor!
He's no more nervous and apprehensive than I am.
Don't worry, Ravensdern. You've become a distinct long shot.
You may have a brandy if you wish, Redmond.
Yes, it is exciting, my lord. Shame, really, about the Curse of Ravensdern. Anything else, my lord?
Congratulations, my lord, congratulations.
What is it?
It's a baby. What did you expect?
A baby what?
A baby person.
No, you don't understand. What's it like?
Well, naturally it's a little wrinkled and red at the moment.
All right, clothes off!
I beg your pardon.
Sex, nurse, sex!
Well, really, Bishop, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Is it a girl?
No, it's a big, fine, healthy boy.
Redmond!
He's dead.
The Curse of Ravensdern!
My own butler. So that's how we carry on.
This has been a Trojan Radio Broadcasting presentation of The Curse of Ravensdern, Part 3. By the Demas Players, brought to you by Cornman and Turk Cakes and Confectionaries, with Robert Todson as Wilberforce, 19th Earl of Ravensdern, Benjamin Eisenhower as Colonel Braithwaite, Theodore Cypher Hansberry as the Bishop, Jake Satterns as Redmond the Butler, and Amber Musson as Nurse Myrtle.
Cornman and Turk Cakes and Confectionaries. Don't eat cake, eat art. On sale this week, Tater Tot Surprise.
I'm Millie Moores. Join us for the next installment of The Curse of Ravensdern, The Claimant. Until then, good night.
You are listening to WMDI.
Trojan Radio Broadcasting presents The Curse of Ravensdern, Part 4, The Claimant. Tonight's cast is Prudence Wilson as Lady Ravensdern, Dimitri Needham as Constantine Didido Papopoulos, Ellen Evans as Squiggles, Jake Saturn's as Fluffy, Benjamin Benny Eisenhower as Poo-Poo, Susanna Lynch as Eggs, and Giovanni Eisenhower as Naughty. Brought to you by Snyder's Vegetables and Beans. I am your host, Nathan Nason.
Did someone steal your beans?
Were they your special beans?
You don't need to make an angry scene.
You can even get a mess of greens at Snyder's Vegetables and Beans.
We return to Ravensdern, where the signs of the slow and inevitable decline of the family are evidenced by the missing pictures and disappearing furniture. Perhaps, after centuries of misbehavior, the tides are beginning to turn for good on the Ravensdern. This morning, Lady Ravensdern awaits the arrival of a man who may or may not be the missing heir of Ravensdern, her son. And now, part 4 of the Curse of Ravensdern, the Claimant.
Sarah, darling, do shut up about your thoroughbred. I need moral support. No, I'm not doing anything. No, I'm stuck down here all alone in this great, hideous house in darkest Dorset. What do you suggest? I am smoking a cigarette. I am having a drink. Well, of course I'm not. I told you I was all alone. Speaking of which, how is Roberto? Really? Well, darling, you must feel terribly left out. In one day, that's amazing. Well, you've got to make him stop, you know. He'll go blind if he does it that much. No, really, drinking absinthe can make you blind. It's the wormwood. Oh, I see. He's upset about Brucey. Well, who isn't? Anyway, darling, I am absolutely teetering on the precipice. I have to face another claimant, another possible heir to Ravensdern who may be my own long-lost little boy in the 23rd Earl. Or 24th, I forget. Anyway, it is very stressful and terribly nerve-making to have a succession of total strangers dropping by and calling you mother, which is of course a dead giveaway. I made damn sure the child's first words were Lady Ravensdern. Well, he can't look a day over 22. I know exactly how old he would be, but the one I pick is not going to look a day over 22. I mean, there are limits. Well, that's precisely it. His very first task would be to try and grope his way up here unassisted. I packed the staff into a motor coach and sent them off to tour his stately home, in the vague hope they'll learn how to run one. Well, yes, he has to grope his way up here unassisted. That's his very first test. A test which he may have just passed. I shall somehow just know. I think a mother always knows. Maternal instinct. That is a very cruel and wounding thing to say, and I'm never going to speak to you again until he's left. Goodbye. Come in. Come in.
Lady Ravensdern.
Yes! Good morning. You managed to find your way around the corners, I see.
Yes, no problem. I seem to do it instinctively.
Well, I am the Dowager Lady Ravensdern, and you are either Lord Ravensdern or...
Constantine Dididopopopoulos.
And what do they call you?
Constantine Dididopopopoulos.
How very thorough of them. Would you like a drink?
No, thank you.
Or would you mind if I do? Now, tell me about yourself.
There's not much to tell.
Well, where have you come from?
Caracas.
That's not in Surrey, is it?
Venezuela.
The name sounded vaguely Greek. Now, have you always lived in Caracas?
No, I cooked in a restaurant in Hong Kong.
Well, that explains it, doesn't it? Now, tell me what you remember about England.
I have no memories of England.
About Ravensdern?
Nothing.
Me?
No.
Do you like horses?
Only if they're very well cooked with lots of spices.
Tell me, tell me, what in the world gave you the idea that you might be the heir to Ravensdern?
Someone suggested it to me. That's how I got the scar on the back of my head, and I told them from an antler.
From a what?
A stag's horn, made from a chair entirely of antlers. There's no such chair in my foster father's house.
Well, we have one somewhere, but they're quite common. That is, they're unusual, even grotesque, but nevertheless common. I myself have a scar from such a chair, though it's not on the back of my hand.
Oh, but you did lose somebody.
I know, and I feel just awful. It was such a very careless thing to do. I'd gone into Wickery-on-Water to send scarves to the soldiers and you to prep school, and, well, silly me, I got the labels mixed up.
The prep school loved the scarves, and I don't know about you and the soldiers.
I don't remember that.
What do you remember?
It rained a lot.
Oh, no one's going to fault you there.
Hello? Is anybody home?
Oh, God, it's General Carruthers back from safari. If he starts talking horses, please do not mention cooking them. And here, Poo-Poo.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you, Ella?
Rather busy, Poo-Poo. I thought you were out still trying to bag something in Kenya.
Shot everything I wanted to and clipped one boy who got in the way. Here, brought you something.
How thoughtful. Another assegai. Thank you, Poo-Poo.
Who's this?
I haven't decided yet.
Oh, one of these claimant fellows. How do you do?
How do you do?
Well, is he or isn't he?
I don't know.
Well, who are you in the meantime?
Constantine Dididopopoulos.
Oh, I don't think he could be. It doesn't sound quite likely.
You can never tell.
Do you know what it would be like to be Lord Ravensdern?
No, what would it be like?
Very nice. In one fell stroke, you'd get Ella and some damn good horseflesh.
Thank you, Poo-Poo.
And what else?
Well, you'd be an earl, a belted earl. I mean, everybody's got to be something somewhere. And you'd be damn near the top without having to turn a hand. The dirty work's been already done. May not sound like much, but it's a lot more than being down near the bottom. They've got some good dogs as well. Do you like dogs?
How do you prepare them?
Do have a drink, Poo-Poo, and pour me another. Are you sure you wouldn't like a drink?
No, thank you. You know, being Lord Ravensdern doesn't sound
Doesn't
rather...
it?
No, it sounds
Yes,
rather...
but consider the alternative.
What's the alternative?
Not being Lord Ravensdern.
Now, tell me, Ella, how will you make your decision?
I shall somehow just know. I think a mother always knows. Easy on the vermouth, Poo-Poo.
Shine that spotlight over here, you fool.
Oh, dear.
Fix 2 more of those poo-poo and make them extra deadly. Sarah rang me and said you were teetering on the brink, LR. So I scooped Fluffy off the 16th green and dashed madly over. Don't worry anymore, darling. Squiggles is here.
I say, hello, LR. Poo-poo.
Hello, Squiggles. Improve your game any, Fluffy?
My, oh my, oh my. Who's this?
I'd like you to meet Constantine.
Dididopopoulos.
Is that just you or a whole little Aegean village?
Just me. How do you do, Fluffy?
I'm Squiggles.
That's Fluffy over there with the impedimenta, waiting for a drink.
And we'll have to call you Dee Dee. He's divine. Where did you find him?
The question is, how did I lose him?
I say, are you a claimant?
Yes.
Sounds awfully foreign to me.
So keep your hands off him, Squiggles.
But he can't be.
Why not?
Well, he's much, much, much too young.
Squiggles, the actress Victoria Trafalgar, named after the battle. Oh, shortly after the battle, that is.
I say, how will you tell?
I shall somehow just know. I think a mother always knows. Thank you, Fluffy.
Thank you, Fluffy.
Hold it! Don't anybody move. There's something in the ether. I'm getting vibrations.
Well, see a doctor.
There's something going on. I can sense it.
If you'd open your eyes, it would be blazingly apparent.
Hello, eggs.
Poo-Poo has returned. See, I was right. I sense that. It's a gift.
You should take it back and exchange it for something else.
Now what's going on? Oh, jolly, drinkies.
I say, hello, eggs. See anything strange lately?
Not really, just Daft Davy and Silly Sybil as I was skipping up the stairs.
Lots of crows about, though.
Fluffy, darling, do you think it would be possible for you to stable your putters and mashy niblicks somewhere?
Oh, I say, I tend to forget them, you know.
There's a foreign influence here. I can sense it.
I just got back from Kenya.
That's not it.
Eggs, I'd like you to meet Constantine.
Dididopopoulos.
He's a claimant, Eggs.
A foreign influence. I knew it. We should call you Tichburn, after the famous claimant.
Tichburn fellow was awfully fat.
That's a perfectly horrid idea. We're calling him Dee Dee because he's divine.
Someone wants to contact you. I can sense it.
Would you get to that and tell whoever it is not to fall on the sword till I bring them back?
Righty-ho.
If Poo-Poo's going to the phone, who's getting my drinky?
Hello, Ravensdern. Who? Oh, Sarah.
It's Sarah.
This is
I
Sarah.
can sense it.
How are you, Sarah?
If you sense anything else, Eggs, I shall strike you.
And how is Roberto?
Constantine.
Dididopopoulos.
You're not from around here, are you?
Oh, well done, Eggs.
He may have been years ago.
Well, he'll go blind if he keeps it up, you know.
I sense the sea. Let me think. Vancouver?
Caracas.
Close.
Fluffy, will you get eggs a drink before she drives me stark raving mad?
I say, coming, LR.
Kenya. That's why I've never met Brucey.
Oh, not Brucey again. Fluffy, you've met Brucey. Talk to Sarah.
I think you're going to fit right in, Dee Dee.
Fluffy, give Pooh the drink to bring to eggs, and you talk to Sarah about Brucey.
I say.
Where's my drinky?
Pooh, give the phone to Fluffy. Fluffy, give the drink to Pooh.
Would you like me to read you?
Oh, not now,
Read
Eggs.
me.
Your palm, or your bumps, or something.
You'll have to pry Squiggles off to get near him. Don't drink it, Pooh. Bring it over here.
Is that my drinky?
Give her drinky.
I say. Hello, Sarah. No muggles and pingle. This is Fluffy.
What a strange palm you have.
That's mine.
Sorry.
Pooh, pour it down her throat.
Oh, thank you. I need this desperately.
You certainly do.
I was rather hoping for a dry martini, Poo-Poo.
But I say, why is Roberto upset about Brucey?
Do you need a drink there, Mr.
Dee Dee.
Mr. Dee?
No, thank you very much.
Roberto loved Brucey and now he's gone.
It would be thrilling if you're an
And if
earl.
I'm not?
Not so thrilling.
Tell me about yourself, Dee Dee. Do you like animals?
I wish you hadn't asked that.
I, myself, have a lovely little birdie and a great big pussycat. Do you like pussycats?
Constantine, darling, I want you to think very, very carefully before you answer that.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Speaking of animals, I nearly had this great white rhino, but some damn fool native boy got him away.
I say, you shouldn't feel that way about Brucey. It's not.
But of course I
done.
didn't have him mounted. What do you take me for?
Dee Dee has a definite aura about him, Ella. How are you going to tell?
I shall somehow just know. I think a mother always knows.
Hello, LR. Hello, Eggs. Hello, Squiggles. Hello, Fluffy. Hello, Poo-Poo. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Noddy. Have a drinky, Noddy.
Rather.
I'll get it.
I say, Sarah, Noddy just came in.
Noddy is a small game hunter, as opposed to Poo-Poo, who's a big game hunter.
Noddy collects butterflies. He's a leppy something.
He's a lepidopterist.
Oh, not really, Eggs. I'm just an amateur.
I say, that's an enormous handicap.
What brings you up here, Noddy, darling?
Actually, Lady Ravensdern, I wanted to use a phone.
Oh, dear. Fluffy's talking to Sarah about Roberto, who's upset about Brucey.
I do wish Roberto would grow up.
The last time I saw him, he seemed to have grown up quite well.
Fluffy, if Sarah's not actually hanging over the abyss, would you try and pry her gently off so Noddy can use the phone?
I say, Sarah, are you actually hanging over the abyss?
What chance another drinky, Ella?
I say, she is over an abyss, you know.
Poo-Poo, why don't you just go ahead and pour everybody another one?
Why don't I talk to Sarah?
Because you give her hives, Noddy.
I know. That'll get her off the phone.
Good idea. Fluffy, give the phone to Noddy.
I see a major change in the direction of your lifeline coming up.
You can rely on that.
Momentarily, I should think.
Now, Fluffy, darling, give the phone to Noddy. Squiggles, I do think you should let Dee Dee breathe. Eggs, let go of his hand. He's going to need it to fight Squiggles off.
Well, then where's my other drinky?
We desperately need another round, all round, Poo-Poo.
No can do. Noddy's drink's the last drink.
What?
There's no more.
Ring for somebody, Ella.
Well, make some more, Poo-Poo. Put Noddy's thing down and make some more. Fluffy, let go of that. Open your fingers, Fluffy.
I'll make some more.
Oh, would you? That's terribly sweet. Although, actually, we want them very dry.
I know. When I was 9, my adopted parents were surprised that a child of 6 could make such an excellent dry martini.
My son! My son!
Mother!
Mother always knows. It's true. No matter the years between, Mother always knows. And of course, the child remembers the little things she taught him.
I say, Sarah.
This is riveting.
By Jove.
Oh, what a silly mummy you must think of me. But then again, I'm just a scatterbrain. And now you are Lord of Ravensdern. All this is yours.
Ooh, thrilling.
Frankly, this is all too much. I'm overcome. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
Have a martini, Mother.
Perfect. What a blessing it is to have a child.
I feel for you, Lady Ravensdern. I really do feel for you.
One for the books, Ella.
I say, really, I say.
There's a new Lord Ravensdern, Sarah.
I sensed it coming. Absolutely sensed it.
I'm just overwhelmed. I need a drink.
Coming, Mother.
Good Lord.
What?
Sarah just hung up. She said that she didn't care about Lord Ravensdern, and she thought it was just beastly of Squiggles to take Brucey from Roberta.
Squiggles, really?
Oh, Poo-Poo, you know what a pushover I am for all that rippling muscle. And now I can introduce Brucey to Dee Dee. They'll adore each other. I can always tell.
Disgusting.
I gave Roberto lots of money eggs.
I can't believe my ears. Buying Brucey from Roberto? That is disgusting, depraved, and decadent, you predatory little bitch.
Brucey is a horse.
That's much, much worse.
This is the best dry martini I've had for years. Thank you, Dee Dee. Dee Dee's gone. Your son is gone, Elar. Well, did he leave the recipe?
This has been a Trojan Radio Broadcasting production of The Curse of Ravensdern, Part 4, The Claimant. Presented by the Demas Players, brought to you by Snyder's Vegetables and Beans. Their beans are magic. Tonight's cast was Prudence Wilson as Lady Ravensdern, Dimitri Needham as Constantine Dididopopoulos, Ellen Evans as Squiggles, Jake Satterns as Fluffy, Benny Eisenhower as Poo-Poo, Susanna Lynch as Eggs, and Giovanni Eisenhower as Naughty. I'm Nathan Nason. Join us for the next installment of The Curse of Ravensdern. Ravensdern Remains.
You are listening to WMDI. Trojan Radio Broadcasting presents The Curse of Ravensdern. Part 5, Ravensdern Remains. By the Demas Players, brought to you by Marquis Fine Lingerie and Underpinnings. Because even in Bar Harbor, everyone needs underwear sometime. Tonight's cast features Winifred Woods as Pamela Mainway, Raymond Cooper as Wing Commander Kenneth Hawkins, heir presumptive of the House of Ravensdern, Theodore Cypher Hansberry as the Reverend Smithers, Gloria D'Angelos as Hodgson the Faithful Retainer, and Miss Canterwell, the ever-helpful neighbor. I am your host, Ruxby Rye.
Snyder's Vegetables and Beans. Beans, beans, nothing but greens. Parsleys, peppers, cabbages and celery, asparagus and watercress and fiddleferns and lettuce. On sale this week, rutabaga and arugula. Also, beans.
The years have been passing at Ravensdern, and they have not been kind. Like all great families, the Ravensderns have been suffering under the usual burdens of life, death, and taxes. Ancient Lord Ravensdern sits bundled in his chair by the fire, his head in the newspaper, while the Reverend Smithers, a nervous sort of man, is entertained by Miss Pamela Mainway, secretary to Wing Commander Kenneth Hawkins. Hawkins is anxiously counting the days until he becomes the 28th Earl of Ravensdern. There is an ill wind blowing through the formerly stately home. Can it be that the fates have found a new plaything? And now, The Curse of Ravensdern. Part 5, Ravensdern Remains.
At which moment, this is too frightful. At which moment, the current Earl supposedly drops dead.
Oh dear.
And that's about it. Except for the boys, Trevor and Adrian. Trevor went to America and got that wonderful job in New York with the Metropolitan Museum or opera or insurance, something creative. Which proves it really is the land of opportunity, because he'd never have got a job like that over here where everyone knew he was a complete nincompoop. And Adrian writes that he doesn't regret a thing, and anyway, he likes Moscow.
What a gruesome history. Weren't there any romantic bits?
No, it's all been very dire. And working here hasn't been as romantic as I personally would like, actually.
Do you like working with Wing Commander Hawkins?
Kenneth? Oh, super. Kenneth's just smashing to work with. And you know who he's going to be, don't you? He's going to be him when he isn't him anymore. But lately I haven't been able to spend as much time with Kenneth as I personally had hoped, actually. These days I'm much more of a nurse than I am a secretary. I spend most of my time now looking after Lord Ravensdern.
How is...
Well, what can you expect at that age? Crumbling before our very eyes.
I had the impression that earls were not generally long-lived.
Ah, but he didn't inherit till he was 73, actually.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Wing Commander Hawkins.
Oh, hello. You must be Reverend Smithers, is it? How do you do?
How do you do? I'm awfully sorry about that big Chinese vase in the hall. Clumsy of me. It wasn't new, was it?
No, it wasn't new.
Sorry, Wing Commander.
Kenneth, just Kenneth. That'll be simpler all around, I think. So you're here to be vetted about the appointment as the Vicar of St. Mark's in Wiggery Rookery, are you?
Yes, Wing... yes.
Good, good. Well, it's a lovely old church. I'm sure you'll like it. You're not too high, are you?
No,
Or too low?
I don't think so.
Good, good. Well, that's that, isn't it? I've asked for tea. You'll join us, of course. How is his lordship?
Well, actually...
Well, actually what, Miss Mainway?
Well, the doctor's coming this afternoon and will tell us, but frankly, I think you'll be Lord Ravensdern very soon.
As bad as that.
Then this will all be yours.
This is already mine. Has been for 7 years.
Less 3 days.
Less 3 days.
Oh, but I thought...
Yes, everybody thinks that. But the Earl is without issue. I am a second cousin far removed from an entirely different branch of the family.
But the nearest male heir.
On the death of his lordship, I will become the 28th Earl of Ravensdern. But he left me the house and estates 7 years ago.
Less 3 days.
How nice. He must be very fond of you.
He loathes me. We have lived together for 7 years and spoken twice. However, he does not loathe me quite as much as he loathes the Labour government, which he considers sitteth at the left hand of Karl Marx, and who stands to benefit in death duties to the tune of...
Almost £2 million.
Unless the property was passed on 7 years before his death. Is that clear?
If he dies before Saturday, you lose £2 million.
Oh, good, I was clear.
Tea, sir.
Thank you, Hodgson. You're staying, Vicar? Will you, Miss Mainway?
Yes, Kenneth.
I think we're expecting the Dr. Hodgson. Just come right up when that happens.
Yes, sir.
Milk, Vicar.
Yes, please.
Sleep in his newspaper again, I see. You'd better wake his nibs up. He likes his crumpets hot enough, almost finished here. Won't have them from the electric toaster person, though we got one special. So I'll do it for him over the fire, the old tartar.
Frightfully sorry about that, but he was Kenneth's Batman, so we just have to put up with it. How many lumps?
2, please.
Tea time, Ravensdern.
You have to give him a good shake these days.
There you are.
Thank
Time
you.
to wake up.
What's that then?
Bread and butter.
Come on, come on.
Thank you.
Hello? Anybody expecting a baby?
No, I don't think so, actually.
Oh, don't all look at me, for God's sakes. I'm not expecting a baby.
You don't think that, perhaps his lordship,
His age, that's macabre.
I don't know. There was a randy old Duke of Roxburgh, had a male heir at age 81.
are good for him.
Don't be beastly.
I don't suppose it could be just, well, you know, weather.
I never thought of that. Never crossed my mind. Well done, Vicar. Well done.
Tea, Kenneth.
Thank you.
Good heavens!
It's enough to wake the dead.
No it's not. He's dead.
What?
Lord Ravensdern is dead. Lord Ravensdern.
He can't be dead.
As an ordeal.
Ah, my first funeral.
Don't get carried away, Vicar. Rise and shine, you old fool. Wake up, you silly bugger.
Stop shaking him so.
He's a gonna governor. What can you expect? Been in decline for 7 years.
Less 3 days, actually.
Then it's a merciful release.
Nobody but a congenital, blithering idiot, Vicar, would describe a £2 million tax bite as a merciful release. You couldn't wait until Saturday, could you, you nasty old man? You know what your trouble is, don't you? No family feeling.
Calm down, Kenneth.
3 days, 3 days, 3 bloody days. Is that too much to ask?
I suppose we'd better call the doctor.
Bit late in the day for that, ain't it?
For the death, for the death certificate.
The doctor's due in a minute.
I wonder what he died of.
Bad timing.
I don't suppose anyone wants to eat any of these little fishy things, do they? I didn't think so.
Do you really have £2 million?
Don't be bloody stupid.
Couldn't you sell a picture or something?
Couldn't did.
Flogged the lot and blew the proceeds in Monte Carlo.
Ms. Mainway mentioned a fabulous jewel.
The Pad Paraggio, which was stolen from us by some hairy-heeled blighter presenting himself as a claimant.
LR set off in hot pursuit and was last seen chugging up the Ganges.
She was chugging gin. The boat was chugging up the Ganges.
So you don't have £2 million?
Broke, broke, broke in these cold, grey stones.
Then how are you going to pay for it?
Yes, how are you going to pay for it, Kenneth?
A lot of money, that. Will cover your gambling debts. Just barely.
I'm not going to pay it.
What?
You'll have to, now he's dead.
He's not dead until the doctor says so.
The doctor will be here any minute, actually.
But he won't.
Where will he be?
Out for a walk.
Gosh, damn, the
Wait till Saturday. We hang pheasants longer than that.
Not in front of the fire, we don't.
Right, we'll move him. Everybody lend a hand. Well, don't just sit there.
I can't believe my ears. I positively can't believe my ears.
For heaven's sake, Vicar, I'm not trying to murder him. Quite the reverse, in fact.
Kenneth,
Yes.
what's it worth to you?
£2 million.
No, I mean, what's it worth to you for me to go along with you in this?
100 quid.
Oh, Kenneth.
1,000 quid. What do you want? Anything. I'll marry you.
Done. What about me?
I'll marry you too.
No thanks.
I mean, I'll marry you to that girl you're laughing about with. You can have the East Lodge.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
With a stipend.
With a stipend.
With the regular cost of living increase adjusted annually
Just
for
a
inflation.
bribe, Hodgson, not a bloody trade union contract.
Right.
Well, come on, Vicar. Grab a leg.
Stop this! Stop this minute! This is outrageous! Outrageous and unconscionable! Another repellent episode in the odious history of the Ravensderns. This is counter to all human decency and in front of the laws of God and man. I'll have no part in it.
Mr. Smithers, the incumbency and the living of the parish church of St. Mark's rests solely within the gift and at the pleasure of Ravensdern.
Fine. Where do you want to put him?
Thank you, Vicar. Somewhere cold.
Pretty nippy outside. Put him in the rhododendrons. Sorry.
There's a secret panel somewhere over there. We'll stuff him behind that. Would you open it, please, Miss Mainway? I think you have to push something.
Right, your lordship. Up to Daisy.
I've got his legs.
I think, Vicky, you'd better wait to lift his legs to be taken straight in this end.
I'm glad we got it before rigor mortis.
I'm glad we got him for inland revenue.
I'm pushing, Kenneth. Nothing's happening.
Push harder. No, not you, Vicar.
I'm going to come round the front there.
I'll give a heave, Hodgson, see if you can get him.
Righty-ho.
Put his feet on the floor, Vicar.
I've pushed everything, Kenneth.
Well, pull something. Use your initiative.
Very well. I'm pulling, Kenneth.
So are we.
He doesn't look heavy, does he?
I've pulled everything, Kenneth.
Well, twist something, you silly cow.
I hope you're not going to speak to me like that after we're married.
Truth.
Frightfully sorry, darling. Keep trying.
Grab that hand, Vicar.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I give up.
Right, on go. Get ready, get set, go.
Oh, Kenneth, the secret panel opened. I did it.
I just popped in to see if I could get old Algie up for a spell.
Cantwell, panel, back in the chair, back in the chair.
Miss Cantwell, how kind of you.
Nonsense. I brought some of my tonic, thought it might help. Rum and ginger mostly, it helps me.
Miss Cantwell, this is Reverend Smithers, just appointed to cure the souls at St. Mark's.
Good afternoon. Not trendy, are you? I don't like guitars in church.
Not too trendy, no.
Good, good. Now, where's Algie?
Well, stand aside, men.
No, are you mad?
Let the dog see the rabbits.
Good lord, it's like he's asleep.
Hello, Algie. Shh. Oh, I see. Sound asleep. What a shame. How is he?
Much better, actually.
Oh, good. Well, I'll just slip away then, shall I?
Terribly good of you to come.
Oh, nonsense. Oh, tea time.
Please, won't you join us?
Look out, the vicar, he's fainted. Oh, good catch, Kenneth.
Why, thank you. How kind.
Do have a seat. Over here, Miss Cantwell.
Oh, no. I'll just plop down right here beside Algie.
Kenneth, the vicar again.
My, oh my, Algie's looking very dusty. A crumpet, Miss Catterell. Oh, no, thank you.
Bread and butter. Jam, Victoria Plum.
No, thank you.
Oh, gooseberry.
These look interesting. Thank you. You know, when Algie and I were children together, I always hoped we might get married. Never happened. He married, I didn't. Now, when are you going to get married, Kenneth?
Next week.
To whom?
Me, actually.
Her.
And what's your name?
Pamela Mainway.
Mainway. Do I know them, Kenneth?
As well as I do.
No lunacy in your family, I hope.
Not yet.
Well, my dear, I hope your children will have chins.
Thank you.
there any real Ravensdern blood left, Kenneth?
To have Ravensdern is to be Ravensdern. Dominion follows property.
Yes, well, I hope you two will be very happy. You must invite me. I love weddings. Always wanted one myself. There, of course, here are Algie and I, single again. Perhaps it's not too late. Oh, yes, it is. Well, I suppose we're past that, aren't we, Algie?
Watch out.
He's
Look
tipping.
at his hand.
Oh, well, possibly not. Oh, Algie, you old flirt. The idea, holding hands at our age. Oh, my, his hands are cold, poor thing. He always hated the cold. And this is a cold house. Always has been. Only supposed to have been warm once in its history. Well, over 100 years ago. That was the night of the 1,000 candles. The greatest, most glittering ball ever to be held at Ravensdern. Heroes of the realm, bejeweled ladies, musicians, footmen everywhere. It was the eve of the marriage of Lord Cedric Ravensdern to the beautiful heiress, Gwen Conlon. Never happened, of course. Young Robin Fitzhoward Ravensdern showed up. Supposed to have been packed off to France, but he showed up anyway, like a young Lochinvar, on a damn great horse which he rode straight to the ballroom. He carried her off, and they got married. Went to Canada, I believe. These little fishy things are just delicious.
Do you have another?
Oh, no. I must be dashing along now. I'm so glad Algie's feeling better. And remember, Reverend Smithers, no guitars in church.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Cantua. May God strike her dead.
I think he saves that sort of thing for the immediate family.
We must have these little fishy things more often.
Will you put those down?
They're supposed to be delicious.
Pull yourself together, Miss Mainway. Ready, Hodgson?
Ready.
Come on, Vicar. Miss Mainway, open the panel, please. Vicar, get a grip on yourself and get a grip on him. Right. Ready, set, go. Panel open, Miss Mainway.
No, not yet.
I think we've got him, Vicar. You just follow along. You all right, Hodgson?
Yes, sir.
Here we come. Miss Mainway.
It won't open.
Of course it will. What did you do before?
I don't know, actually.
Well, push something.
I wasn't pushing, I do know that.
Well, pull, twist. I don't care if you have to hew your way in with a bloody axe just to get it open, actually open.
There's no need to shout.
We can't stand about like this all day,
He's
you know.
not a feather mattress.
Put him down for a moment.
Hello. Oh, good. Algie, you're up on your feet again. That's the ticket. I forgot to leave the tonic. Here, try some. It might buck you up. Does me. Well, cheerio, old thing.
Everybody wave. Make a wave, Pamela.
See you anon.
I'd like to get my hands on the man who spoke of the idle rich. Vicar, follow that woman and make sure she leaves. Use bodily force if necessary. Open the panel, please, Miss Mainway.
I can't. I don't know how.
Do you want to be a countess or not, you wretched twit?
You're shouting again. It's not fair. You didn't have to make him wave his hand. I did. I think I'm going to be sick.
Oh, there it goes. Good.
Stuff him in there. No, his right leg.
This is irrelevant.
What if you fall into?
It is dusty in here, isn't it?
Just lean him against the wall.
Ah, that'll keep him fresh as a daisy. There you go. Bob's your uncle.
Piece of cake.
We don't have cake today.
Commander, there's a doctor here to see Lord Ravensdern.
Doctor, so good of you to come. Unfortunately, his lordship's just left to visit friends. He was feeling much, much better and thought a change would do him good, but he did definitely say he'd be back by Saturday.
Kenneth, no! Get away from the wall of the panel!
Frightfully sorry, but now that you're here, do have some tea.
Oh, Doctor, do try one of these little fishy ones. They're supposed to be especially tasty.
This has been Trojan Radio Broadcasting production of The Curse of Ravensdern. Ravensdern Remains, presented by the Demas Players and brought to you by Marquis Fine Lingerie and Underfittings. With Winifred Woods as Pamela Mainway, Raymond Cooper as Wing Commander Kenneth Hawkins, Theodore Cypher Hansberry as the Reverend Smithers, and Gloria DeAngelos as Hodgson the Faithful Retainer, and Miss Cantwell the Helpful Neighbor. I am your host, Ruxby Rye. Join us for the final installment of The Curse of Ravensdern. Caveat emptor.
You are listening to WMDI. And now, the thrilling conclusion of The Curse of Ravensdern, presented by the Demas Players. The Trojan Radio broadcasting presentation of The Curse of Ravensdern. Part 6, Caveat Emptor, by the Demas Players, is brought to you by Adams Funeral Home and Insurance Company. Tonight's broadcast features Francis Baker as Ada Redmond, Jeffrey Graham as Mr. Branstetter, the American upstart, Ellen Evans as Mrs. Branstetter, his expectant wife, and Robert Todson as Oliver Fogey. I am your host, Giovanni Eisenhower.
The Adams Family Funeral Home and Insurance Agency has been taking care of local families for generations. We put our best foot forward when you don't. Or that. We get you come.
The Curse of Ravensdern. Part 6, Caveat Emptor. Ancient Ada Redmond is preparing for the arrival of the Branstetters of Newark, Ravensdern's new owners. Mostly this faithful charwoman places chamber pots under the spots where the roof leaks. The years have worn out the Ravensderns in their house. All that's left is the leaky shell of the house and a few pieces of furniture. It seems that the Curse of Ravensdern has finally finished its job.
Hi there.
Oh, hello, love. You'll be the Americans, won't you? The ones Mr. Fogey sold the house to. Welcome to Ravensdern.
Thank you. I wanted to show my wife the place.
Oh, yes, well, it's not at its absolute best this afternoon now, is it? All this rain, and no one living here. Why don't you have a nice sit down, love? Get off your feet. Well, no, I don't suppose it looks too comfy right this minute now, does it? Of course, if I'd have known you were coming, I'd have tried to make it a bit more cozy-like. But then I didn't, did I? I do the best I can, but I'm not really here anymore. I just pop up now and then. Habit, I suppose. And of course, I can't do a lot of bending and lifting these days. I'm just a ghost to be formed myself, really. I'm Reddyman. Ada Reddyman from Wickery Regis.
Branstetter, my wife, Carol.
Awfully pleased to meet you.
We're from Newark.
Oh, yes. Well, then you'll be very comfortable here, I'm sure. Provided, of course, you mend the roof. You are going to mend the roof, aren't you? Yes, I thought so. Plenty of money, haven't you? Americans always do. Americans everywhere now, aren't there? Fast music, fast food everywhere. Now here? No central eating here, though. Not as yet. Still need a nice fire to take the chill off. Of course, I'd have done that, but then I didn't know you were coming, did I? And I'm only one pair of hands anyway. It's not like the old days. 6 villages it took to staff this house. All the Wickeries. Of course, we Reddymans were in service here for donkey's years. Though I do think now that it has stopped with me. My Sid can't do anything anymore, not with his problem. He does still do the football pools, but that's it really. So I'm the last of us. But then, this is the last of them, isn't it? Shame, really. All those debts and taxes. Poor Mr. Fogey. But they couldn't go on forever now, couldn't they? Not with their problem. Now my Sid says good riddance to bad rubbish. He calls them a horrid brood. Still, I suppose there's something to be said for both sides, as the bishop said to the actress. Well, I think you'll enjoy it. Full of interest, this house, everywhere you look. Take this now. Very old, that is. A lovely bit of china, that. Fine old Chelsea. Well, you can imagine the history it's seen, can't you? Think of where it's been, under all those noble beds, and all those noble... Well, there you have it. This is what it all comes down to. Leaky roofs, I mean. There, that'll hold it. Oh, look at that bird.
Where?
Gone now.
What was it?
Was it a raven?
Oh, bless you, no. There have been ravens here since I don't know when. That was a common crow. Same family, so they say. Let's see, I used to know a rhyme about crows. How did that go? Very old it was. Oh, I have it. 1 for warning, 2 for mirth, 3 for a wedding, 4 for a birth.
I'm surprised you didn't see 4.
Nah, only 1, love, but I'm sure there'll be others. Ooh, look at the time. I've got to get down to that church and see to them flowers. Awfully pleased to meet you. You'll be all right, will you? Well, I'm off. Here, look at this. Look at that and look at this. Look at all that rain and look at me without my brolly. All the way along at the other end it is. You'll find you'll get to exercise in this house. One last thing, and it's not my place, but if you are going to live here, you could do a lot worse than nice, cheerful wallpaper. It'd do wonders, it would really, especially in this room. Well, ta-ta for now.
Goodbye.
The natives are friendly.
And real strange. How much did you say we paid for this, Daddy?
Carol, honey, it's an investment. It's the start of an empire.
It looks like the end of one. And with all these sheets over the furniture, it looks haunted. Why didn't we take the place on Park Avenue?
Honey, that had 5 rooms. This has 70. This is cheaper.
Yes, but it had twice as many bathrooms. It had 2.
We'll fix it up and you'll love it. I'll have a team gut this place and do it over. What the?
Sorry, only me. Didn't mean to startle you. Good afternoon, I'm terribly sorry. Welcome to Ravensdern. I'm Oliver Fogey. I lived here once.
Oh, Lord Ravensdern. I'm really, really pleased to meet you.
There is no Lord Ravensdern. I am just Mr. Fogey.
Oh, well, nice to meet you anyway, I guess.
Branstead, my wife, Carol.
How do you do? Then you are now Lord of Ravensdern.
Sure am. Signed the papers this morning.
I hope my solicitors gave you all told you everything you needed.
Couldn't have been nicer. Faster they could have been, but not nicer.
They're a very old firm.
We were just taking a quick look round. Carol's first time.
I hope you haven't been bored.
No, we talked to Mrs. Redeman.
Or she talked to us.
Who?
Mrs. Redeman, the cleaning lady.
I didn't know she still came. The first of the Redemans was a butler here. Died on the job, poor fellow. That was back in Maisie Butterworth's time when butlers used to drop like flies at Ravensdern.
Tell me, Oliver, are there ghosts? People love to visit haunted houses. Gives them a laugh. A real live ghost is money in the bank, Oliver.
In that case, you're going to be a very rich man.
Oh, great! It is haunted. Honey, I told you this was a good investment. She's crazy for it. Aren't you crazy for it, honey? Tell her.
Really crazy.
Who would it be for all this?
You understand that nowadays, all this is only this. The land is gone. The pictures are gone. The library was sold. Though inexplicably, there are 174 leather-bound copies of The Adventures of a Toadstool. Privately printed.
It's okay. I'm not a big reader.
I understand, Mr. Brandstetter. You plan to convert it into a hotel.
Well, that's the first move.
And the second?
You've got these interesting new gaming laws now, Oliver. I've got my people onto that. That's where the money is. What do you do?
Until recently, I tried to teach children who had never heard of Winston Churchill about Sir Philip Sidney. It wasn't easy.
Say, isn't there a curse? I heard there was a curse.
Not anymore. It went with the family.
Well, what happened to the family? Who was the last Earl of Ravensdern? What happened to him?
He died without an heir.
Well, that's a pity, isn't it, Daddy?
Sure is.
Tell me, Mr. Brandstetter.
Call me Earl.
What?
Forget the Mr. stuff. Call me Earl, my first name.
Oh, thank you, Earl.
So there'll still be Earls at Ravensdern.
Quite so.
There's always Earls, I guess.
Quite so.
I'm surprised it wasn't open to the public as a stately home. Charge admission.
Actually, when we approached the National Trust, they answered that in the case of Ravensdern, the term stately was misapplied. Anyway, now it's yours.
All ours. The house, everything. Except the curse.
Daddy, we don't want a curse. Won't you miss it?
I shall miss the gardens.
What will you do?
I think I shall write a history of Ravensdern.
Oh, really? Why?
It's something to do. I don't think anyone else will do it. And I want to balance the story.
What story?
They weren't all a horrid brood. I was thinking of Colin Ravensdern, born lame and blind in one eye over 200 years ago, who, equipped with beef tea and cherry brandy, went alone to Calcutta and north into the jungles and then the hills into Bhutan, and through Bhutan across the Himalayas and across the great ice passes, losing 3 toes and a finger to frostbite. Then, so into Tibet to Lhasa, where in the Potala he was the second Englishman to meet the Dalai Lama, who was then 9 years old. The Dalai Lama spoke Tibetan to his interpreter, who spoke Chinese to a Chinaman from Macau, who spoke Portuguese to a Christian munchie, who spoke Latin to Colin. And in this way, Colin obtained the sanction of the Dalai Lama to bring a great treasure out of Asia. Collecting his treasure and loading it onto yaks, he recrossed the Himalayas and Nepal and Kashmir and India again, and then by clipper ship, on which he came down with scurvy, to England. The mission took 5 years. Finally, he delivered safely to Ravensdern his cargo of 273 different varieties of rhododendron, all neatly labeled. The plant is not native to England. He spent the rest of what was not a very long life creating the cataract, which you can see from this window. A dried stream bed planted so that on the horizon there's a foam of white and pale blue, flecked with sunlight yellow, then falling through deeper blues and lavenders and pinks to lilac and flame, violet, scarlet, and crimson, descending for 3 miles to a great pool of magenta, mauve, and purple. Colin's cataract, a remarkable achievement for a man who had lost the sight of his one good eye to scurvy on the voyage home.
Look, Daddy, it's right where we're gonna put the parking lot.
I really think I should be getting on now. It's been most pleasant.
It sure has, Oliver.
Delighted, and I really mean that.
Any tips on running the place?
Tips?
Nothing we should do. I mean, now, before we redo it.
I should tell the crows.
What?
Tradition says that you should tell the crows that you are master here.
Why?
So they know. Good afternoon.
Goodbye. Well, he's a dried up old thing, isn't he?
Honey, it's ours. It's all ours now. Give me a kiss. Well, what now?
Tell the crows, I guess.
Honey, get serious.
Earl, this place is for the birds. Tell them.
You really want me to? Crow! Honey, this is stupid. I can't do this.
Go ahead, Daddy.
Crow! Crows! Crows! This is mine! All mine! I have and hold all this. What I have taken, I will keep. I am master here. I am Lord of Ravensdern. There. Satisfied?
Thank you. Oh, look, there's a black dog down there.
Do I have to tell it anything?
No, dum-dum.
Hello, hello, hello. Still here, are you? My feet are absolutely killing me. Give me a nice little council house any day of the week. Well, I've got me brolly, so it'll stop raining, won't it? Enjoying ourselves, are you?
Sure are. We've got a secret passage, and a secret passage is money in the bank.
How did you know that, then?
Mr. Fogey used it.
Oliver Fogey.
Oh. Oh, I see. So he came back, did he? I thought he might, poor old gentleman. Very fond of this house he was. I expect it's hard for him to let go. But don't you worry yourselves about it. He will eventually. After his funeral, I imagine. But
Wait,
that story. There was one poor Ravensdern who was born with 2 heads. And of course they had to keep him somewhere, didn't they? Poor sod. Sods, I suppose. Does having 2 heads make you plural? Well, never matter. Now I've got to dash down to St. Mark's and do them flowers. I want to do them really special, seeing it's for Mr. Fergie. In his sleep it was, blessedly. Quite unexpected. He just renounced the title and died soon after. All rhododendrons I'm doing, 'cause he did like them, and he got a lot. Now, I don't want you bothering your young heads about ghosts and such. I mean, it's just the dead hand of the past, isn't it? It'll all fade away, you mark my words. Then you young people can get on with your lives. That's the big thing, isn't it? Well, I'm off. And one last thing. Hereabouts you do have lots of, well, legends and traditions like. Silly mostly and dying out now. But no matter what anyone says, whatever you do, don't tell the crows, will you? Ta-ta for now.
We don't belong here, Daddy. We're Americans.
What's that supposed to mean?
We should be Americans, not follow them.
Baloney. I bought it fair and square, which is probably a damn sight more than the first of them did. They had it for centuries. Now it's our turn. Now we're top. All this and even an heir apparent. Very apparent. God, I hope it's a boy. Don't you?
What's this, Daddy? Addressed to me? It's from someone named Granny Hodgson. You will be blessed with a son.
Honey, another Earl. Earl Wyatt Branstetter Jr. It's the start of a line. The fresh start of a brand new line. And we don't have to worry about the curse of Ravensdern.
This has been a Trojan Radio broadcasting production of The Curse of Ravensdern. Caveat emptor, presented by the Demas Players, brought to you by Adams Funeral Home and Insurance Company.
Adams Family Funeral Home and Insurance Company. When you give up the ghost, we've got you covered. Office is located at 1313 Cemetery Lane. Drop by and see us sometime and let us give you a hand.
Tonight's cast features Frances Baker as Ada Brenneman, Jeffrey Graham as Mr. Branstetter, Ellen Evans as Mrs. Branstetter, and Robert Hodson as Oliver Fogarty. I am your host, Giovanni Eisenhower. Thank you and good night.
Woo!